The American sage H.L. Mencken once defined Puritanism as the haunting fear that someone somewhere may be happy. But since Mencken's death in 1956, there has emerged a new and more complex form of American Puritan, the man haunted by the fear that someone somewhere may be happy doing something he is also doing that he thinks is his right but nobody else's. Such a creature is Rush Limbaugh, who should have learned that when the new Puritanism attacks a sinner like, say, Bill Clinton, it invariably overdoes it to such a degree that America recoils and soon perceives the sinner as the victim and the new Puritan as the jackass. Our third story in the countdown, with comments idiotic even for him, Limbaugh has turned John Edwards into a victim. Details in a moment. First, it's not like Senator Edwards is not trying to stay competitive. The senator had implied to ABC News that his affair was over by the time he announced his presidential candidacy on December 28, 2006. Elizabeth Edwards' brother and closest friend now telling People magazine that John Edwards revealed the news of his extramarital conduct slowly and not until the, quote, frenzy of the campaign's official launch. Acquaintances of Rial Hunter are also shedding doubt on John Edwards' version of events. One says the affair began 6 months before she started working for the Edwards campaign. Of course, that woman answers to the first name of Pigeon, and for that matter, Rial Hunter is a made-up name. That woman was born Lisa Druck. As to Elizabeth Edwards and her reaction to the affair, her brother saying she decided to stay with her husband because of her cancer diagnosis and the fact that her young children will not always have a mother. Fortunately, the lunatic right will always have a mother on the radio. Despite the wall-to-wall sleaze of the Edwards saga, Rush Limbaugh is managing to make it look like a puddle while he represents the backed-up sewage plant down the street.
We've been told that Elizabeth Edwards is smarter than John Edwards. That's part of the puff pieces on them that we've seen. Ergo, if Elizabeth Edwards is smarter than John Edwards, is it likely that she thinks she knows better than he does what his speeches ought to contain and what kind of things he ought to be doing strategy-wise in the campaign? If she is smarter than he is, could it have been her decision to keep going with the campaign? In other words, could it be that she doesn't shut up? Now, that's as far as I'm going to go.
Actually, it wasn't. Never is. A minute later.
It just seems to me that Edwards might be attracted to a woman whose mouth did something other than talk.
You mean like what you do with your mouth other than talk? Consistently, endlessly wedge your own foot in it? What better prepubescent dream of genital-waving dominance over all the women in the world than to blame the intelligence of a woman for her husband's infidelity? What a pure sentiment to share with the less well-recompensed losers who comprise your audience than to dismiss their failures as husbands, as men, Rush, on the woman. I mean, even these days, 3 divorces is a lot. A $38 million salary, and the guy can't keep the same woman. Got to be the woman's fault, right? And you wouldn't want an intelligent woman reminding you that when you went after Bill Clinton, his approval ratings went up, and your 2 successive champions against him, your 2 Republican speakers of the House, had to resign in shame because of, whoops, their own marital infidelity. And you wouldn't want an intelligent woman around to say, as somebody should have said to Sean Hannity, or somebody should have said to you, hey, you know what? You keep bringing up Edwards and infidelity, and sooner or later, somebody's going to bring up John McCain cheating on his wife while she was recovering from a terrible car accident. Somebody. Even Alan Colmes. And you wouldn't want an intelligent woman around you to say, hey, loosen up on the pedal on this Edwards crap. The story was broken by the National Enquirer. They were the same people who broke that story about you and the pills. And you wouldn't want an intelligent woman around you maybe to help you keep that dream job that you blew at ESPN. So instead of sitting around in a radio studio making fun of a cancer victim, somebody somewhere might still care about your opinion of the National Football League and permit you to be on television. Oh, no, nothing worse than having an intelligent woman around, Rush. Rush Limbaugh is a hole.